Ladies, it is possible to make your own money, have your own career, pay for your own swanky New York City apartment, etc., and find a man who loves you and wants to have and raise kids with you and wants to be with you and only you. The only thing stopping you is your decision to settle for less. That's kind of a harsh ending. And people lost their damn minds. As you can see, it racked up millions and millions of views, millions of comments, and quote tweets. She was getting ripped to shreds on X. And people were saying that this was a feminist rallying cry, that she was a fake conservative, that she had no grounds to stand on, that this was terrible advice that she was giving women. And women themselves were slamming her and accusing her of parroting something that was unrealistic. This was not a personal attack on any of you or your life choices. In fact, the tweet was, in my mind, about choices and about making choices that are good for you and your values and your family. Choices that are good for only you, because it is your life and your decision. You have the freedom to raise your family, to be the kind of mother that you want to be. And that is what Megyn Kelly was talking about.
Brett Cooper recently stepped up to support Megyn Kelly after Kelly faced significant backlash for her comments criticizing women who prioritize money and vanity over loyalty and hard work. Didn't she? Kelly made these remarks during a discussion about Elon Musk's alleged new child, and the response was overwhelmingly negative, with criticism pouring in from all corners of the internet. When Kelly shared the same thoughts on X, the reaction was just as intense, prompting Brett Cooper to come to her defense. So what actually happened? Let's dig deep into it.
I posted on Twitter, you can have a swanky New York apartment. You could earn money and actually wind up renting one yourself. You could also find a man who wants to marry you and raise children with you and who won't have other women in his life at the same time. All of this is available to you. Not just her, but any woman. You do not have to make a choice where you try to bang the billionaire to get his baby so that he'll put you up in some lavish New York City apartment and take care of you for the rest of his life, and then be shocked when he doesn't actually want to have a relationship with you. And the only way you can maybe get him to respond to you is via tweet. I'm sorry, but again, you made choices. They were very bad ones.
It all started from this, and Megyn's discussion took a wild turn, spiraling into a frenzy. The backlash was so intense that even the New York Post published an article against her, framing her comments as a dig at liberal women. Suddenly, it seemed like her remarks were everywhere, sparking debates and outrage across platforms.
Megyn Kelly stirs controversy with her take on balancing kids and a career, which, in my opinion, that really wasn't what the tweet was about. But again, we're going to get into that at a later time. But let me tell you, the response that the New York Post covered in their article was emotional.
And when the backlash reached unrealistic levels, Brett Cooper stepped in to support Megyn Kelly. She carefully broke down what Megyn actually said about the situation and called out those who interpreted her response as an insult. Brett pointed out that there was nothing in Megyn's comments that targeted women, whether conservative or liberal.
When did she say that that was not okay? That was not the point of the tweet. This was not a personal attack on any of you or your life choices. In fact, the tweet was, in my mind, about choices and about making choices that are good for you and your values and your family. Choices that are good for only you, because it is your life and your decision. You have the freedom to raise your family, to be the kind of mother that you want to be. And that is what Megyn Kelly was talking about.
Brett Cooper responded to Megyn Kelly by affirming that what Megyn said was simply a fact and that there was nothing wrong with her statement. She emphasized that everyone's life is a result of their own decisions. Brett brought up Ashley St. Clair as an example, pointing out that she is now facing the consequences of her actions. While Ashley is trying to protect her child, even her baby and everything surrounding him are ultimately the outcomes of the choices she made. Brett's take was clear. Personal accountability matters, and Megyn's comments were not an attack, but a reflection of that reality.
I mean, listen, some people don't like Megyn. Megyn did not miss here at all. This was completely factual. I say it all the time. Your life is your fault, and that doesn't have to be a negative thing. And right now, Ashley St. Clair is dealing with the consequences of her own actions. Now, she has a beautiful new child, and she's trying to protect this child, but there are consequences to her actions.
Moreover, Brett added that during the show, Megyn was trying to highlight the idea that Ashley could have chosen to marry someone else, someone who would have supported her along the way rather than pushing her into the background, as Elon allegedly did. Brett also pointed out that it's hard to claim Ashley was unaware of this possibility, given Elon's well-documented history of never fully committing to anyone.
And what Megyn was trying to say is, it didn't need to be this way. She had a career. She was very well connected. I'm sure she was around a lot of men. She could have found somebody who wanted to marry her and raise a family with her like she tweeted about for years on end, but that's not how it worked out. And instead, she now has a child with a man who historically, very publicly, has never committed to anyone. Ever. Like, it's very, very public. You probably knew that going into this situation.
Brett then addressed the tweet that sparked the massive backlash, explaining that this was the actual post everyone reacted so strongly to. In the tweet, Megan specifically referenced the woman who received a lavish apartment from Elon and was seen in photographs wearing expensive dresses, all while knowing that this billionaire has no history of committing to anyone. Brett clarified that Megan's point wasn't to shame anyone, but to highlight the reality of the situation, that despite the material benefits, there was no long-term commitment or stability involved.
So riled up about is specifically calling out the fact that she allegedly got this expensive, swanky apartment paid for, that she's being seen and photographed in all of these fancy clothes, you know, like head-to-toe Balenciaga is what I've heard, that she acquired that by having a child with this billionaire who won't commit to her or anyone else for that matter.
Brett added that while not being able to communicate with Elon regarding their child is undoubtedly a difficult situation, Megan's point was that all of this stemmed from Ashley's own choices, especially when Elon's dating and parenting history was already well known. Megan wasn't attacking Ashley, but simply pointing out the decisions she made despite the evident circumstances. Brett emphasized that Megan even suggested Ashley, like any woman, had the freedom to choose someone else, someone who might have offered more stability and commitment.
Not being able to contact the father of your child is awful and messy, especially for this innocent child, but this man's history with dating and relationships and parenthood is well on display. And as Megan says, I'm sorry, but this was a choice. And she is also saying, in addition to kind of, that subtweet, that dig at Ashley, she is also saying women and Ashley, this is not the only option.
Brett had actually touched on this controversy involving Ashley in a previous video where she weighed in on the situation. During that discussion, Brett brought up Ashley St. Clair's old tweets, where she allegedly expressed a desire to have children. Now, with Ashley's recent claims against Elon Musk, Brett and her podcast partner Amir Odom found it odd that Ashley is suddenly calling him out, especially given her past statements. Despite their skepticism, Brett acknowledged that Ashley might be experiencing postpartum challenges, and expressed a degree of sympathy for her situation.
The Ashley St. Clair Elon pregnancy, which is a whole can of worms and a lot of different topics, but people were very quick to pull up her old tweets where she was saying, I want to just have a husband and 2 kids and live on a farm,
right.
and talking about single motherhood and all this stuff.
And shaming people for having babies in broken homes and this, that, and the third.
And it's unfortunate, and I feel for her because I think she's probably locked in some insane deal with him, and she's dealing with postpartum hormones, and I'm sure that she felt stuck, so she did what she had to do. But it's also didn't you know what you were?
She wanted this. She tweeted out talking about how.
Oh my God, yes. That she with Greg Price. She tweeted at Greg Price saying I need Elon's info so I can have his baby or something like that.
Yeah.
Another critic from Valuetainment Channel chimed in on the Ashley St. Clair situation, labeling it as a billionaire baby trap. She pointed out the apparent hypocrisy, noting that Ashley, a conservative influencer who often speaks out against degeneracy and advocates for traditional values, has now had 2 children out of wedlock. This critic highlighted the irony, given that Ashley has been a vocal proponent of marriage and family values.
This is a billionaire baby trap. This entire thing was premeditated, and what makes it really bad and really just makes her a hypocrite is that she is this quote unquote conservative influencer. So she's apparently being this big proponent of, non-degeneracy and monogamous relationships and not having children out of wedlock. And now this isn't just the first, but now the second child that she's had out of wedlock.
Even though the Ashley controversy got mingled with Megan, nobody can deny the fact that Elon Musk is an offender in this case. His father even spoke against him, declaring him to be a bad father, bringing up one of the most tragic moments in Musk's life. His father referenced the death of his first child, suggesting it as part of a pattern of emotional detachment. He went on to say that Musk has always left his children in the care of nannies, giving them little to no attention himself. And when he divorced the mother of his 5 children, instead of stepping up as a father, he was left with 6 nannies managing everything on both sides.
Do you think Elon is a good dad?
No, he hasn't been a good dad. The first child was too much with nannies and died in the care of a nanny. Now, what I'm saying, if Elon hears this, he's going to shoot me or something. But anyway, that's what I think. That's no good. They were too rich, too many nannies. Then he had 5 children with the same woman, 5 sons, all brought up. Each one had its own nanny. You followed me? Mm-hmm. When they got divorced, the nannies were 6 on this side and 6 on that side. So it was really a weird situation.
Just never really spent time with kids, hey?
No.
Similarly, Candace Owens also criticized Elon Musk for his actions in the Ashley St. Clair controversy. Addressing the situation head-on, Candace didn't hold back. She stated that regardless of whether Ashley was hired by Musk as a prostitute or if there's some other backstory involved, the bottom line is clear. If this is indeed his child, Elon has a moral and financial responsibility to care for him.
I don't care if Elon Musk found Ashley St. Clair at a strip club. I don't care if he hired her as a professional prostitute and she got pregnant that night. It's his kid. If it's his kid, he's got to take care of it. That's just like moral consistency, okay? I just don't care. And it has to be done in court. If she won the bag, as everybody's saying, doesn't matter because Elon Musk is a 53-year-old man, okay, who has definitely had the talk about the birds and the bees.
Brett Cooper's defense of Megyn Kelly amidst the backlash over her comments highlights the complexities of public discourse in today's polarized environment. Brett stepped in to clarify that Megyn's remarks were not an attack on women, but rather a commentary on personal accountability and the consequences of one's choices. By breaking down Megyn's statements, Brett emphasized that Megyn was pointing out the realities of Ashley St. Clair's situation, particularly in light of Elon Musk's well-documented history of avoiding commitment. Brett's support underscored the importance of understanding context and intent rather than jumping to conclusions based on surface-level interpretations. However, Megyn's comments managed to offend both conservatives and liberals, albeit for different reasons. Conservatives, who often advocate for traditional family values, found her remarks contradictory, especially given Ashley's own conservative stance and her decision to have children out of wedlock. Liberals, on the other hand, viewed Megyn's statements as dismissive of women's autonomy and overly critical of those who prioritize material benefits. This dual backlash reflects the broader cultural divide, where discussions about personal choices, accountability, and gender roles often become lightning rods for controversy. Brett's defense also shed light on how most people perceive this situation. While some see Megyn's comments as a harsh but necessary truth about personal responsibility, others view them as judgmental and out of touch with the complexities of modern relationships. The involvement of figures like Candace Owens and other critics further fueled the debate, with many questioning Elon Musk's role in the controversy and his responsibilities as a father. Ultimately, the Megyn Kelly Ashley St. Clair Elon Musk saga serves as a microcosm of larger societal debates about accountability, gender dynamics, and the consequences of personal choices. Brett Cooper's intervention provided a balanced perspective, reminding audiences to look beyond the outrage and consider the nuances of the situation. Whether one agrees with Megyn's stance or not, the controversy underscores the challenges of navigating sensitive topics in an era where every word is scrutinized and amplified. What are your thoughts on Megyn's statement that seemed to offend so many? Was it simply a statement of fact, or did it come across as provocative? Let us know your perspective in the comments below, and don't forget to stay tuned for more updates and discussions right here on our channel.